Good day, class. Today what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you about how to design your curriculum, how to, I'll stop this. Good day, class. Today I'm going to talk to you about designing curriculum and how you're going to work on your 5-lesson project. Now, from your initial unwrapping of a standard, what I have noticed is that we have a tendency to unwrap but not unwrap far enough. In other words, we need to unwrap something until it gets down to a teachable lesson. And so I'm going to try to show you how to do that, try to show you how to go a little bit further than what you've already done. So in order to get started, what I'm going to do is to share my screen here with you. And I'm going to pull something up for you and have you take a look at it. The first thing that I'm going to do is share a little model that I've developed for you. I want to explain it here, and then we're going to go back and forth for different pieces. So, for example, on this one, this is a big picture. This is one of the big picture standards from OPI. And what you would do is go to the website at Office of Public Instruction. You'll find various major goals, big picture goals, and then from there you'll take those and break those apart then into these primary grade levels. So you might want to choose a grade level for what you are teaching. So you could, if you're an elementary teacher, you could choose anything K-8 if you wanted. If you are secondary, you're actually would be licensed to teach anything 5 through 12. If you're thinking about high school, I'd stick within the 9 through 12 area. Or, in some cases, they're divided up 9, 10. Other cases are divided up maybe by 11, 12. And so it depends on the discipline that you want to choose. You also need to look at that. So you're looking at grade level, you're looking at your particular discipline. And what I mean by that is, are you going to be teaching a science lesson? Are you going to be teaching a lesson in literacy? Are you going to be teaching a lesson in history? Those are the disciplinary pieces. Some of you are secondary, so you have a discipline content that you want to be teaching. You should look at those particular standards here by that grade level. So, for example, in the area of science, a grade level big standard might be earth science, or it might be life science, or it might be physical science. Those are 3 big major standards. So, and then if and I'm more familiar with the sciences, so I can break those apart a little bit better. I can also help you, though, with other disciplines. So let's take a basic standard to meet here. Then you would go and break these particular standards down a little bit further. So let's say that this is a major standard like life science. That's going to be divided up. Whatever that life science is by grade level is going to be divided up into specific standards or goals that you're supposed to meet at that particular grade level. So in the area of, again, if we chose life science here in this area, you might find a particular standard or goal on the structure and function of the cell. All of us remember that kind of activity from our biology classes, either in high school or our Bio 101 classes. So now you have this standard or goal that you've got, and let's say it is on the cell. Maybe it's difference between that. At that point, if it's narrow enough for you to begin the process to divide that up a little bit, you might start to look at lesson plans. And if you can, these are the 5 lesson plans that you'll submit for your project, but it'll be including all of this information on the big picture. So your first lesson plan could be, if we're talking about could be, what does an animal cell look like? Lesson plan 2 could be, what is a plant? What's the difference in a plant cell? And you could do some activities involved with both of those. Here, you could look at the interior of a cell. You could look at the mitochondria, the Golgi bodies, all of those little things, the endoplasmic reticulum, things like that. These words are probably going, oh yeah, I used to remember those. And then, and so you divide this down into your 5 lessons. You might have more lessons than that. I'm only requiring you to have 5. Now, this lesson is to be designed for a 45 to a 50-minute class period, and it uses some teaching model that we're talking about now. We've looked at the 5E, and we're going to look at some other ones in order to accomplish either whatever it is you want as an objective or goal for that particular lesson. Okay, so I'll come back to this in a second, but for right now, let's take a look at how you get to those places. So on your D2L website, see if I can make it a little bit. There we go. You have the content called Designing Curriculum, and that's your 3rd module. And here you have your OPI standard checklist. Once you click on that, you will get to this website. And this website has all of the different content that's available for you to work from. So if you're going to teach a lesson in Spanish, you would click on World Languages, and that would take you to this overarching goal, the big picture ideas, those types of things. If you're going to do the science, you click on this science website, mathematics here, library media here, health enhancement, and PE things in here. English, language, literacy, all of those things are embedded in here. And then the arts, which has music and theater and visual arts and media arts. So we're going to kind of stick with the science standard thing and just kind of follow it through once. So if you click on this right here, you will get a downloadable PDF. And so you can download that and take a look at it. We're just going to scroll through here, and I'm going to point out some of the features of this particular thing. So you'll click on there, and it'll give you your science standards by grade level. All right, so we look at the table of contents. Notice that it goes kindergarten through 12th grade, and then here's program standards, Montana program standards. So that'd be the really big program standards. If you look at kind of an overview, it gives you some information here. Notice that the content areas included in the science standards are physical science, life science, and earth sciences, base sciences. So those are the 3 major sciences that you could look into as far as discipline content. Also goes into some other pieces on the side. These are pretty specific just to science because of the next generation science standards. But anyway, let's look a little bit further. You've got, okay, here are some science content standards for kindergarten in physical science, life science, and earth and space sciences. So even in kindergarten, where in life sciences it says use observations to describe patterns of what plants and animals, including humans, need to survive. So we're looking at what are the needs, the living needs of either a plant or an animal. And those are pretty basic, of course, at the kindergarten level. But this particular objective or standard, if we go back to this part, is right here. It's a grade level standard, and it needs to be broken apart even further, and then broken apart into at least 5 lessons. And I think that you could see, even at the kindergarten, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that you could be doing to try to reach this standard. Let's go a little bit further. Let's take 5th grade, and let's do this activity with 5th grade. So we'll move from 1st, there's 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. And we're talking about life science. So I highlighted this for you. Develop and critique a model to describe the movement of matter among plants and animals, decomposers, and the environment. Oh, that's really not cellular, is it? Oh, well then I can't do fifth grade. Well, let's see. Support an argument that plants get materials through the growth? No. So what does that mean? Well, that means that even though I wanted to do cells and I'm a fifth grade teacher, I'm not supposed to do cells. Cells are done at a different grade level. So I guess if I really want to teach cells, maybe what I need to do is change grade levels. That really doesn't happen very often. But if we went back here to fifth grade or fourth grade, let's see if there's cells in there. No, nothing on cells. So where is cells taught? Well, somewhere in 6th through 8th grade, you can teach cells, and here it is right here. Develop the structure and the function of a cell as a whole or ways parts of cells contribute to the function. Also, this whole area right in here is on cells, cellular structure. So we could take and move those three main concepts here, these three, into this section right here. And then we need to take one of those, which is, let's say, a model to describe the function, structure, and function of a cell. And we could divide that into 5 separate objectives and lessons. And I think you can kind of see what you might do. You might have them draw the structure of a cell. You might do some activities with cells on how to design and build cells. You might have them label parts. You might have them scrape the inside of their cheek and look at cheek cells. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do and study. And you can use the textbook as a reference for those kinds of things. So that'll get you to your 5 lessons. And that is where we're starting to develop right now. We're starting to look at how you unwrap this major project and how you develop it into 5 lessons, breaking it down, breaking it down, breaking it down, breaking it down. Pretty soon, we will begin to look at writing objectives, and objectives are based at this level. 1 or 2 objectives per lesson, and then we need to be able to assess those objectives at that lesson plan level. We're going to be working on that. As you can see, we're going to develop this whole process all the way through this course. So we started in this area right here. We're breaking it down. We're learning how to unwrap curriculum to do that. We're going to learn how to write these lesson plans, and we're actually going to learn how to write an EPG based upon one of those lessons, which is a way for us to assess the pre-learning that students have, their knowledge that they come into the classroom with, because we all know they're not empty buckets, and then to assess where they end up at the end. And we're gonna do that. That's a requirement for you to do it to junior and graduate field level. It's also a requirement for your student teaching. And so those are some things that we'll be working on. You'll have using this concept and these lesson plans in your methods classes. All right, so I hope that this helps kind of lay out where we're going and how we're moving. Feel free to call me or send me what you have at some point, and I can help you just kind of break it down a little bit further, give you a few pointers. There's also ways for you to discuss this with others and share it with others, and so I would hope that you would be sharing your lessons with others, which certainly helps. We all don't have the time to write hundreds of lesson plans, for the year, because this is a 5-day sequence to get at one of the goals of your year that you'd be teaching. Okay, well, I hope that makes sense. We'll talk a little bit later.